capitalistic spirit, I'm sorry, you did. That's a disaster.
I mean, listen, if you're a communist, yes, you do. Okay.
Okay.
You know, we're not talking about.
I'll go back. I'll be online at Costco to get a roll of toilet paper for 6 hours a day.
Right. We're not talking about sensible people. Okay. We're talking about people that have no sense and no common sense for sure. Okay. That is what always creates the bigger problem. Okay. When you do things that are totally of ignorance. Okay. And again, you wanted to end something.
If you disagree, what do they call you?
A liar, an idiot.
Oh, they call you racist.
Yeah. No, listen, that's without saying. Okay.
True.
That goes without saying.
Yeah.
You're always something, and they listen. It's a tragedy, and as you and I both have discussed on many occasions, thank God for our police, military, fire, and everybody else, all the public servants out there, because Jesus, where would we be without them? And that's where they want to go to because they want chaos. Okay, but anyways, I think, Andy, the tax is the thing that probably is the forefront. I think people finally realize that this is going to be not good, and I think it ties back to the stimulus, and then that ties back into universal basic income. What's your thought?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You asked me what my bitch for the day was, and this kind of brought it up. I spent lots of money to educate my children. And now I think back and I say, why the hell didn't they take loans?
Right.
Right? You too.
Listen,
a lot of
I
people.
wish I had done that too. Listen,
I didn't want my kids to have student debt.
Yeah,
I didn't want them to suffer. And now, it's all being erased. Where is this money coming from? Pushing buttons. You push a button, you create money.
Right.
Government plays by a different set of rules. They should play by the same set of rules.
Oh, if they did, they'd be in jail or bankruptcy court. Anyways, flat tax.
They wouldn't do it. If they had those rules, they wouldn't do it.
Of course, flat tax. I mean, but that would be obviously a simple solution, but we would never do that. That would take away too much of the perks that these guys get. I go back to, they didn't miss any checks. They got raises. Okay, through all the tough time when we're all suffering and giving a stimulus, they're getting raises. So, all right, we will end on that note and get on with the Monday night call. Let me just stop this recording and then we'll get right back to it. Hold on one second. Let's see. Stop. Listen to my girlfriend. Again, now let's go back to the next recording. Okay, and record to the cloud. Yep. Okay. So anyways, what's up? Welcome aboard. It is, of course, the Monday night call. And obviously we've been going for just over an hour. And we do break it into two parts because there is so much to cover. And, there is Vegas, which I want to remind you where the deadline is coming shortly for Vegas. I got to give a count and that'll be the end of the line. And also we've got the live stream, which we'll have a deadline on that shortly too. There'll be an email letting you know the exact dates of deadline because we have to, again, get everything prepared. And it's a big job. And it is by far the greatest trading event and teaching event that there is in this industry. If you've ever been, you can vouch for that. And if not, you can learn more in 3 days between what we teach, the guests I bring in and dealing with your own fellow traders who are doing a lot of the same things you're doing. Okay, it's a terrific spot and a terrific spot for learning.
And you get to hang out with us for 14 hours a day.
Yeah, isn't that lovely? And I stay up until I pass out. Anyways, look at the market's never wrong. This is, I had this conversation this morning when I was live trading with everybody. I go, look, I didn't like a trade. I said, I'm going to take it, but it's not, it wouldn't be top notch. Okay, because it was the markets, even though we saw the selling, the volume really didn't come totally back yet. And I said, I'm not going to give it as an official. We're going to take it. We made 3 trades today, but you would think you would make more in that period. But as I tell you, it's always better to wish you were in a trade than to wish you were not. And the markets are never wrong. Okay. And right now, they're signaling now whether or not they're going to follow through. We'll find out. But right now they are signaling lots of troubles ahead. We'll see. Middle class pays majority of taxes. Reduce taxes for middle class, so it supports. Well, that is actually indeed what the past president did do, as much as they want to tell you that he didn't. But again, we'll get into that. But you are correct. So it's ugly out there. Trends are changing, and I think that is a fact. And as I said, over the weekend, and I think I might have even said last Monday, I think we're going to get a 20 to 25% move in the fourth quarter, and I don't see it as being higher. Now, again, I don't predict markets. Okay. But if I'm right, it can only be lower. I don't think we can get 20 to 25% up. Do you?
It doesn't feel that way to me. But you know what? I'm going with the trends.
Right. No, but I mean, I'm it looks.
Yeah, no. I mean, if a gun to my head, I'm saying lower.
Okay. It looks bad. And again, I'm going to follow the rules like everybody else. I mean,
It smells bad. It smells bad. It's just too, it smells rotten.
And the new tax plan is and will be a major disaster. And if something doesn't trigger a big sell before that will bring back 1987. Okay, you'll see a market collapse like you have never seen before, even with the circuit breakers. Okay, because they'll break that circuit 2 or 3 days in a row. You watch. Okay, if this tax plan gets through, that circuit breaker will get a big. We'll be shut down for a couple of days. Okay, the circuit breaker will keep going off. And I think, what is it, 7, 13, and 20? Is that the numbers?
I think so.
Okay, I'm not sure, but somebody here I know for sure. But I mean, again, I'm telling you that this is the most unhealthy thing that could happen to the markets and to everybody else. Will the moderate Democrats step up and be counted? And all I'm saying is, I think personally, because there's an election coming in a year, and they've already been campaigning, and if they base history and base where they are. Okay, they don't want to lose those cush jobs. Okay, so I don't think that they're going to be so quick to sign off on this. What do you think, big boy?
Well, I think Manchin is the key. Manchin and the woman from Arizona.
Cinema, I think her name is.
Yeah, Kristen Simia.
And there's others that are also
right. There's others in Congress who are also moderate.
Right.
Yeah, they're feeling a lot of pressure.
Right. Well,
I mean, a lot of money is being thrown at the progressive side, and Uncle Bernie, $3.5 trillion ain't enough for him. He wants more.
Right.
So there's a lot of pressure, and Uncle Chuck over there, he's with Bernie, and he's the majority leader. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm afraid that you might see capitulation by the Democrats.
Yeah, and then the end of the month, end of the quarter coming, it's a week, right? Next week.
Yeah.
You think there'll be window dressing? There usually is, but
yeah, if the market stays quiet, yes. If the market gets busy, forget it. It's like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously the window dressing is done for selfish reasons. Mm-hmm. Okay. When they do it, if you don't understand it, it's where their bonuses are based off of.
Right.
So we'll see. Again, at the end of the day, it is what it is. And, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But those are things, these, I don't lose sleep at night, but these are things that would make me lose sleep at night. Okay. And of course, the official call always starts with Connie's words of wisdoms. Yesterday's home run don't win today's games. And, yesterday is history. And we can only deal with what we have today. And of course, Babe Ruth, right in the almost in the same category with Yogi Berra with that particular quote. But again, it is, you cannot worry about, you use history to learn from and to do it better in the present. Okay. And you're always continuing to use history. And of course, that's another problem. But in the meantime, okay, what happened yesterday is over. It's on to today. Okay. As always, Connie, you are spot on. Thank you. And of course, her State of the Union. I think this will show you something. And of course, Wake Up America, this will be the last real photo you are allowed to see. How does that feel? Okay. And, this is a big problem, and Andy, speaking of this, and, I know your brother's in Australia, lives in Australia. Okay. And I was reading over the weekend, okay, about there was a big group that broke down police barricades because they're tired of being locked down. Mm-hmm. Did he say anything about that? Have you talked to him about it? I'm just curious.
He didn't say anything about it, but I mean, he's locked in a cage in Queensland, I mean, you can't go even into other states. It's very frustrating for them.
I mean, to me, that's go ahead.
Yeah. I was going to ask, this picture is, I guess, of the immigrant, the Haitian immigrants coming in.
Yeah.
This is a disaster. They're not getting COVID tested. They're not getting vetted for, who's coming in from where, potential terrorism. As someone who lived through 9/11, this scares the living what out of me, because quite frankly, the next person or persons who are going to attack us here on the homeland are coming into the country since the beginning of this year.
Right. And the
That
government
is a disaster.
The government says no more drone photo coverage.
Oh no, they said that, and then they said Fox can have a drone.
Okay, so we'll see. Again, the things change. And of course, I've been bitching for over an hour, but I get one more, my official bitch of the day. And, the Ministry of Manipulation and Morons, and which is what I believe that we have running this country right now. Okay. I mean, everything is manipulated through the Federal Reserve, through what they do, through the lies that they tell. Okay. With every walk of breath. And that does not just the Democrats. Okay. Just to be clear, I am not a fan of either party. Okay. I was a fan of the last president because this stuff was not going on at the extent that's going on today. Okay. And I cannot believe that nobody can see it and we all just pass it by and walk by it. To me, it makes absolutely no sense, because it is very serious and very dangerous what is going on in this country right now. And I'm going to say this again. I think there's going to be a revolution in this country at some point.
Yeah, could be.
So, I think
that no one, very few people showed up for that protest in Washington, D.C. last weekend.
So I think there's some big issues, but I mean, again,
there's a lot of apathy right now. I think that when it hits the pocketbooks, when taxes go up, when we lose more rights, that's when you're going to have a real problem.
Right, because look who's leading us. Okay, but anyways, all right. So Apple, go ahead.
I just said tax the rich.
Yep. Apple, Alpha Papa Lima, and we have reversed the short here, and of course it has been under some pressure ever since. Of course, almost on cue from when they had their meeting, their big announcements. Okay, yeah. This is almost on cue.
Buy the rumor, sell the news.
And of course, as we look at it, I would say probably 145 resistance. And 140 should be some support, but certainly, now again, a lot of this will depend on if we're seeing an overall trend change, and if we get some speed to the downside. Remember, I am not a buyer at 140 under any circumstances. I am telling you that at 140, you could see some buyers potentially come in, but that does not, good.
If Apple drops 30%, their market cap will still be $1.75 trillion. That should tell you all you need to know.
And when they decide, when the markets decide that it's time to really go down, okay, the initial burst, there is no support levels, okay, which is why when we're short, we don't buy, and when we're long, we don't sell. But I give you ideas of where there might be areas and where you can add or look for a pop to go ahead and take advantage of the side that we're on. In the meantime, 140 to 145 and AMD, which we are also short. And of course, that has also broken down today as well, as it has been coming down. And again, we've seen this pattern. We've seen this pattern in a lot of different things today. Okay. So, and notice what happened here. It did break below it. Okay. And this is a sign. This to me looks now like it's 96 to 102. Okay. And that would be the next major level of support is going to be 96. Okay. Now, am I going to be a buyer in it? No, I'm not. Okay. I mean, if you're hedging it, it's one thing, but if you're just, trading it, the only way I buy AMD anytime before the signal reverses is if I'm going to hedge it, or it gives me a blow off to make a trade, which can be one day, a couple days, an hour, nobody knows. Okay. In the meantime, 96 to 102.
In the meantime, you got a semiconductor shortage.
Yep.
If there's a shortage, companies like AMD, they might have nothing to sell. How do you make money if you have nothing to sell?
Right. And then, of course, Bubba, Bravo, Alpha, Bravo.
Still have to pay taxes.
Hey. Hey. And of course, we're still short. We've been short Bubba since 214.
I need to point this out. We
Yes.
have been saying like a broken record, Chinese stocks, real problem. I mean, Bubba, for months, since March, we've been
Yep.
saying it. Ugly. It doesn't look good. It's
Right.
a problem. It's a problem. And it continues to underperform. It continues to look terrible. It continues to be the weakest link.
No, they look horrible. Look at the trend.
I mean, you know, fundamentally, what I really don't like about Chinese stocks is when you buy them, you're not really buying the companies. You're buying offshore kind of, you know, holding companies. You're buying BS. You're not buying it's not like buying a US company or European company. You're
Right,
not
because
buying
they're not held to the same responsibility reporting properly.
Right. The regulations are not the same. And by the way, the government is totally in control. Totally. I mean, not that it isn't here, but it's more so. So
no, they own a piece of every company, right? Different. Yeah, you're right.
No. They own everything because they can nationalize it in a heartbeat, and they would if they had to. The bottom line is these stocks are going down ever since President Xi made that speech, and he got real aggressive, and it sent a signal, and these things have cratered. And the trend is ugly. And by the way, you know, the FXI, all these things that we trade with trends, you know, they've done very well because you stick to the rules.
160 resistance, and I'd be a seller in a heartbeat there.
Okay. Right. In a buy any level.
Watch the 150, but I suspect we're going to check 140 before anything else happens. Okay, so in the meantime, right now for today, I'd be a seller at 160 and love to be. Okay. BitQ, Bravo, India, Tango, Quebec. Oh,
yeah, of course.
I know. Listen, I own it. I'm not worried about it.
It's all down. It's Bitcoin. It's all the same crap.
Can't they give it away? You know, Yiddish. I gotta practice my Yiddish a little bit.
It's still $43,000 a token. Come on.
I know, but it, listen, it's depressing. I own it. I don't like when it goes down that far.
But you don't own it. You're not following trends with it. You.
I know. Anyways, again, this is purely because it doesn't have weekly options, because it's not really hedgeable yet. Okay, I mean, it could be in a roundabout way, but I don't use it for hedging. I just own it outright. And this is just another way to play the crypto world if you want to play it. Okay, this is as Andy called it, Bitcoin soup. This is, it is on the exchange, so it has some merit to it. Okay, and there's some guarantee behind it. Not that it'll go up, but that the money will be good. So, again, if you want to play the Bitcoin, this is one of the ways to try to play it. That's all. Okay, as far as levels, right now 22, okay, to 24. We're back in that hellhole. Okay. And another gamble stock, okay, which we are short, okay, in our portfolio, but is CGC, golf. Charlie, golf, Charlie. Okay. Try to get it all in one.
Maybe if the market trashes, people start smoking a lot of weed.
And this is, to me, this 1350 is probably a major spot, but these are strictly waiting, and they are eroding very quickly as they wait for some federal guidance, and God forbid they would do something with the taxes.
And these companies are, by the way, these companies are burning cash. So the stocks are falling for logical reasons. They're burning cash. They're all betting that the federal government's going to legalize it. And so far, crickets. And bottom line for everybody here, if you want to play, other than if you're in the portfolio, if you want to play it, you're gambling that pot becomes federally legalized. That's the whole play here. There's no other reason to get involved unless you believe that. Okay. Chewy, Charlie Hotel Whiskey Yankee. Now, okay, it's been ugly. Okay, we are shorted. Now it did bounce and hold 72. But it's a very big swinger. Okay, it's got a lot of volatility. It's got a lot of activity. Now, again, the real key here is, I'll open this up a little bit.
this area right in here up to 72 to 77, okay, is the key to watch. Okay, if it can't get back above 77 and start moving up, it's probably going down into the 60s again. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't look very good, and it hasn't been able to come anywhere near the gap on earnings. So, again, but markets don't announce themselves, but right now this looks pretty bad and pretty weak. And the key to watch would be 77. So it's 72 to 77. And coin.
I like Chewy for a hedge position.
Oh, I do too. I mean, I like the company.
I like it for a hedge position. I want to collect stock on the way down.
I agree. Just like you do in coin. Charlie, Oscar, India, November.
Exactly.
Okay. Now this is back at the bottom end of the range again. And certainly probably, again, I can't say for sure, but probably headed back to 220. Okay. But so what? I mean,
this thing trades, 100% with Bitcoin pretty much. I mean, look, we broke down to a new low. Bitcoin broke to a new low. Bitcoin goes back to 29,000. That low. This will go back down to the 220 area. That's what it's doing.
And we don't have this in the portfolios yet, but just a quick explanation. Okay, what I teach you, right? So we're in a downtrend. That's clear, right? Consolidating with inside of an overall downtrend, and of course, double top right here, which was a perfect spot if you were trading it to take a chance and sell it. Okay, that's again a downtrend double top is worth selling. An uptrend double bottom is worth buying. This is not a buy at any level yet, unless you're going to hedge it. Okay. In the meantime, 220 to 250, Connie. 220 to 250. Gambling stock number. I was actually going to take a picture of this store yesterday. I was by my mom's, and there was Kurloff across the street. I asked her, she went over and got a couple of doobies. In the meantime, this is the retail end of pot. It's the retail stores. It looks horrible. I mean, there's certainly no reason to buy it. The only reason you're buying this, again, if you want to gamble. Okay. I will answer any questions like that, Francisco, later. Okay. You may have to re-ask it because I'm not going to stop in the middle, but I will be more than happy to answer it when I'm finished. Okay. In the meantime, again, this is purely speculation. If you're playing it, you're saying, okay, the government is actually going to legalize marijuana federally, and this is going to go to 50. Okay, but right now, it looks like it wants to go to Hater. So, I mean, levels, there isn't really any, but the 1050 to 12, if you want to look at something, DraftKings, Delta Kilo, November Golf, and of course, ouch. Okay. Andy and I both own it. We like it. I still like it, and I don't mind the down. We are long it in the portfolios for now. I don't know if that'll continue through tomorrow, but we are long right now. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if the whole market goes down, DraftKings ain't going up.
No, but again, it's interesting, Andy, when we had, gambling really took off during COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
And there are more and more people trying to, with good intention or not, trying to gamble, okay, to make money. And I'm not saying I concur with what they're doing, but it is obviously a gazillion-dollar business that is growing. But when I look at this, I mean, this does not look very good. It looks like it peaked at 64, not a surprise. And I would say now you're probably looking at 54 to 60. Okay, we're kind of in the middle of that range. Okay, now we are long it as of the moment. So that's, I'd only be looking at
put this in the hedge portfolio. In 10 years from now, this is a 10 bagger. That's my prediction.
I agree.
I don't know where it's going tomorrow, but 10 years from now, it's a 10 bagger.
I agree. I may be bigger. I agree. Listen, I think this industry, and as you hear, I mean, DraftKings expands every day, and they still don't have the two biggest states in the union.
Right. New York and California.
Yeah. Okay, those guys got to leave. They got to drive so they can get across state lines so they can get the app on their phones.
And they don't have Vegas.
Right. Now Vegas is going to have a big change too, which will be a benefit to all of these apps as well, because Vegas controls the market in Vegas, but they've lost control of the rest of the world.
Right.
And they're not happy, but they're trying to, compete, which is why you're going to see, I think, some pretty dramatic changes, which would then free up these apps everywhere, which could only explode that business. Okay. Fast, Foxtrot, Alpha Sierra, and of course we're short this.
Pew.
And of course the banks got hammered today.
Yeah, and that's a triple leverage hammering.
Yeah. And what was the reason the banks got hammered today? And any news? I don't read the news. So
You got the Fed going tapering. You got
I watched
gambling. Taxes going up. It's all the same crap. I mean, it's the banks are highly sensitive to the financial sector, and that's it.
I was listening to the rehash of my beatdown I had 3 games that were decided on the field goal.
I knew you had money on Mahomes last night.
No, I did, but I mean I hedged that off. That was easy. That's why I put it on him. But I had 3 field goals going off in the late games all at the same time. Okay. And each one did not do what I needed to do. Minnesota was the biggest. So they run for a 37-yard field goal. But anyways, in the meantime,
my Giants couldn't lose yesterday. You know why?
They didn't play.
Exactly.
They suck. 102, some support, but again, I would love to see this spike up. I'd love to sell it at 114. Okay, again. All right. In the meantime,
like you said, I would love to see a spike up on the opening tomorrow morning, and everyone's like, and then watch the thing. That would be the worst sign for me for the market.
Right. The best sign for bulls is that they pound them early.
Right. They pound it early, and then it starts creeping back. That's what you want to see.
Okay, and Facebook, Foxtrot Bravo, and of course, we got long right at the wrong time, and here we are testing the bottom here. Okay, look, right now 350 support, 365 resistance, and I would suspect that this is going to be short tomorrow. That'll be my guess. Okay, but at 350 to 365. First solar, you could fault. What happened to the solar panels? Foxtrot, Sierra Lima, Romeo. We are along this as well. What happened?
The whole thing is ugly today.
My God. Okay. In the meantime,
obviously, it actually didn't close that bad.
No, I mean, I would say this is probably 93, to 107. Believe it or not, I would have liked to seen it come down a little farther and stay there. I would have bought some more on a blow-off type trade. Okay, but it did not. So in the meantime, 93 to 107. GDX keeps breaking down, Andy. Yeah, the gold miners.
I'm telling you, gold and silver miners look terrible. And the stock market today is a double whammy on them. And gold, the gold miners today, a very bad reaction considering gold was up.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Okay. And again, we don't trade this much yet, but there'll be a spot. There'll be a point in time that'll come and I'll say, hey, just go ahead and buy it if you want to trade it. It'll be a buy. It won't be a sell. It'll be a buy at some point, but just not yet.
It's like physical,
331. $31 is resistance.
Yeah, you would say that only because this one is not leveraged. You don't want to do that with the leverage.
Yes, correct. And of course, Goldman, Gulf Sierra, well, fell off the table, but it did not have a horrible close,
Goldman made money today.
Well, they make money every day. Okay. I mean, they're the best. Right. In the meantime, probably, we are short, and probably 375 or 370 is some support for, 400. Now, again, that's a big range, but, if you're going to get more volatility suddenly, what is going to happen is the ranges become bigger.
Right.
Okay. That's a function of volatility. Okay, the ranges become bigger.
This is the reason why we only in our trend fund, we only shift overnight. We don't want to get involved in this intraday stuff. I mean, day trading is fine. You want to take a pop, you as long as you have a plan for risk and reward, that's fine. But in terms of the trend following stuff, we don't want to trade intraday, especially when the markets get wild. It's scary.
Right, and they could reverse more often inside the day versus just waiting for the day to end. And of course, IWM, India Whiskey Michael. And as of today, we're still long. And again, it wasn't as bad as the others, but it's in that same miserable pattern it has been in forever. Okay. I mean, this did not even roll down in the hedging models. Okay. It didn't go down far enough. Now it was down plenty, but not enough to trigger anything. Okay. I would suspect that 215 which is what was about today's low, is support, and 220, some resistance. But again, right now, I'd only be a buyer, and I don't think this is going to change tomorrow, but it could. We'll see.
What are the models? They're long this?
We're long this, yes.
Yeah.
We're long the Qs.
Yeah, the index.
We're long the and along this, and short the mains.
Yeah. I reckon one more day down, that might change.
Yeah, well, the Qs will probably change tomorrow. But anyway, when we get there, we'll look at it.
Yeah.
Mara follows Bitcoin. It did. Look at where it went to. Interesting enough, it came right down to 32, which was some support. To me, this is 32 to 40. But again, this is if you want to play in the Bitcoin world, this is just another way to play it. It is not the natural raw Bitcoin, but it does go up and down with it. And the most interesting part that we talked about last week is that forever Riot was much above, and now Riot is inverted and is below this, but it's the same type of a play. And probably, quite frankly, I don't know the underlying details, and I don't really care. But if I were going to make a shot in either Riot or Mara, I'd probably go to Riot, because Riot showed that it was 30% higher than this has ever been, and now it's lower. So again, it's just, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but that's the way I look at it. In the meantime, 32 to 40. Neo, November, India, Oscar, which we are short and have been so. Chinese breaking down. I would say it looks to me it's going to 32.
Chinese.
Okay. Yeah, no. To me, this is 32 to 38. Okay. Nougat, look at this. I mean, this is amazing. Again, so the gold rally today, was it rally? Not again. I don't care. Okay. The trend is down. I'm short on the board, and I'll be happy to buy physical.
Okay. Yeah, this puppy doesn't hold gold. It holds gold miners.
Right.
Gold mining stocks. So
right, but they're all kind of somewhat related, yes?
Right. Yes. But when the market gets trashed, they have risk. They diverge. They can diverge.
I'm with you, baby.
Right.
I'm with you. Okay. In the meantime,
that's why I buy physical gold, not physical gold mining stocks.
50 would be resistance here. I don't even know where I'd even look to buy it now. I mean, you're probably down around 40-ish would be where I might look at it. Now again, that could change, but right now it's just headed south. So what do I need to get involved? I don't need to step in front of it. That's the bottom.
Yeah, that's leverage too, So they'll just, it goes down far enough, they'll just reverse split it.
NVIDIA, November, Victor Delta Alpha. And of course, we are still long this at the moment, and it has been one hell of a run. Okay. And it has now finally had some pullback. Now, again, this is pretty solid support, around 210. I would make this probably 210 to 230. Okay. 210 to 230. We'll see. I mean, again, a $7 down day in NVIDIA is like 70 cents and anything else. It's not really a big deal. Okay. And based on the overall pattern, it still looks really good. Okay. Penn, Papa, Echo, November. Okay. Which we are short. And this has not performed recently as well as DraftKings. And again, there's different reasons why, but this was up at 140 and it's been cut basically in half. And it looks like it's going lower. We are short it in the portfolio, but really, if you look at it, the model tells you it's 65 to 85. I mean, it's a hell of a big range, but that's where we've been. I mean, if you go back to May, the highs are around 85, the lows are at 60, 65. So to me, it's 65. Okay.
If you go back, by the way, if you go back to mid August, that's where it's been.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's just the last month it's been that wide.
I mean, here, this period of time, you're on the bottom half, this on the top half, and now we're at the key. I think 70 is the key to watch here. If it breaks through 70, it's certainly going to 65. And if it holds 70, it's probably going back to 75 or 80. But in the meantime, for us here, 65 to 80. Okay. That does look like
it would be healthy. It would be healthy for this stock to go into a narrow range because this is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. The Qs, Quebec. And of course, we are still long this, but again, I don't know if we can still be long after today. Hard to say. I mean, it doesn't look as bad, but it has broken, part of the trend that we're watching. And this was down pretty substantially. This is down about 3% today.
Yeah.
Okay. Following a 2% on Friday. Following, from the top, it's been down quite a bit. So we'll see. how it plays out. But for today, 360 to 370 would be what I'd be watching right now. But my guess is it's going to change. Okay, that's my guess. I have no facts to tell you yet, but that's my opinion. Okay.
Watch your emails.
Riot has broken through that key support. Now, interesting, Mar did not. Riot has. But I'm going to say this out loud to everybody. If Riot gets to 24, I will be stepping in. Okay. We don't trade this in the portfolios, but this is, to me, at 24, I'm going to step in, and I would say this right now is 24 to 30. Okay. And I will be buying at 24 if it gets there. Okay. And I don't care how it gets there. If it gets there, I'll put a position on it and see what happens. But 24 to 30, Roku, Romeo Oscar Kilo uniform.
Yuck.
We remain short, and it looks pretty pathetic. But again, not bad the last few days. And today's, a little bit of a comeback was not bad, right? It doesn't it doesn't look good. That's for sure. Okay. And one of the things you want to remember as well is when a move becomes too steep in either direction, okay, usually you're going to see some consolidation. If you've heard them talk about, the common is the 200-day moving average, okay, but they use the 50. There's all kinds of they use, but they talk about publicly the 50, 100, and 200. And typically those levels, even if they're going to break through them, will usually add some support because the proper trajectory of a market's at about 45 degrees. So this is a little bit too steep. So you could just be seeing some consolidation before it continues to break down some more. And certainly it has been under some heavy pressure since reaching almost 500. Okay. So this is in the same concern of the lumber. Okay. In the meantime, we are short, and I would suspect 300 will see probably a fairly reasonable pop off of 300, but I think it has a good chance to go through it. And I'd probably look at 320 on the top end, 300 to 320. Okay. The SPYs, Sierra Papa Yankee, which we are short. Okay. And, this has come down, and again, very similar to the pattern we just looked in the Qs. Okay. And, we are breaking down below. Now it looks like we've got a chance to go to 425, 420. And I would say for today, 425 to 440. Okay. 425 to 440. And again, tomorrow, the next couple of days are going to tell the real story of what's going to happen. And of course, the Fed, there will be some action on Wednesday with the Fed stuff. And of course, by the way, live traders who trade with me in the morning we will trade the Fed on Wednesday instead of in the morning this week, but we'll see. I mean, again,
and then after that you have quarter end, so you got a lot of stuff going on,
right? And of course, Square Dance, Sierra, Quebec. Okay. And we are still short this as well. And listen, it's holding. Okay. But again, this is about the trajectory. So, if it stays below there, it's probably going to continue to trend lower. I think 240 is the key here. I think it's 240 to 260. Okay. Tilray, gambling. Okay. Pot.
New
lows. Again, it's going to the garbage can. Now,
cash burn.
If you are, did you say ass burn?
No, cash burn.
I'm kidding. That was from a movie. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But in the meantime, again, you're purely speculating. You're gambling on pot. That's it. Okay. And if it doesn't work, you'll go buy a doobie so you can light it up in flames. Okay. There is no levels here. Tango, Quebec. We are obviously still long this. Again, that'll be whatever the Qs do. Now, this was a very major.
Can I go back to that for a minute? Does it feel like a conspiracy to you, Bubba, that they're stalling so much on this legalization to shake out all these players so the big companies with the big lobbies can own that industry when they all go BK?
Yep.
Yeah, it feels that way to me.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, this is my biggest argument on all these different little things that go on with government. And this is why I hate government in general. they took the coal. Obama took the coal industry and shut them down in a week. Okay, for no reason. He took a bunch of young people that were bred to be coal miners because that's all they knew. Okay, with no education, and shut down the industry. Biden just did the same thing with the oil, the frackers. Okay, but in the meantime, for the right players, like the big tobacco way back in the day, they let them get set up in new industries before they went to take all the advertising. And I think this is going to be the same thing. They're letting the big players get set up because
Altria,
right.
alone.
Altria,
Yeah, and some of the big alcohol companies.
Right, exactly.
Right. It makes sense to me. I mean, I watch these stocks, and I know it sounds like a joke when I say cash burn every time, but that's what you're seeing here. You're just seeing their balance sheets evaporate because they're pouring more and more money in, and they can't operate like they can't compete with other companies because of the rules. They follow the rules, and the rules are killing them.
Right. And yeah, I agree with you 100% that this is a stage, and you'll find out there was some insider trading when it all comes out and said and done. In the meantime, Tesla, which we don't actually trade, but we watch it. We said last week 730 to 760, and here we are. 730, that hasn't changed. 730 to 760. We didn't look at the VIX, which I forgot in the beginning and we don't really set levels here, but it did have a big spike, no surprise, between Friday, and we went up from 18 and almost got to 30 before pausing at 25, which is typical. Now the real question is volatility going to stay?
Right. This has been a one-day wonder.
Right.
The question, we'll find out tomorrow and the next day. The rest of this week will tell us.
Right. I mean, right now the markets did open after the new session, and they are higher. Okay. And again, that's a bad,
by the way, to me, that's a bad sign.
Right. I mean, at this time of day, it means nothing because there's virtually no volume. But again, they are all higher and much higher from the lows to say. So again, as I said earlier, and I will repeat it, should we gap up in the morning, I will be selling. I may be wrong, but I will be selling. Okay. The VXX, Victor X-ray X-ray. I think I probably want to go to this screen though. Victor X-ray X-ray. Okay. Where are we at? There we go. Okay. This had a big pop. Okay. Now this is a perfect example of a potential blow off. Okay. If you traded this day, and I'm not recommending that you do, but if you were trading this, you might have been selling this when it was just under 32. Okay. You look at the spike in volume. Okay. And based on that, we would be potentially looking to be a seller. Now we are short this and the portfolios. And again, I would suspect that may change now as well. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will. I had the numbers in my mind. I forgot what they were, but I did have them. I do show them on Saturday. I think it will reverse. Okay. Because I think that was far enough through. But in the meantime, we've been short this since God knows when, at 48, I think. So, certainly we'll get the meat out of it. In the meantime, I'd say 28 to 32, but probably going much higher and of course much faster because it is leveraged. And when Whiskey Yankee November, and we are short this. And I thought the action was not bad today. It was lower. It's gotten hammered.
They're so exposed to China.
It has gotten absolutely hammered. Okay. But the action today wasn't as bad as it looked. Okay. But it's still not good. Okay. We are shorted. At some point here, I own this and I will buy more and hedge it because again, I believe that they'll solve all these issues at some point. And I do know that they've got some pretty exciting apps ready to go at Win. So they'll be a big participant in this gambling world of mobile gambling, the sports app. So in the meantime, but right now we're short. It's ugly, and that's what it looks like.
Yeah, the Chinese, that went down on China and stuff. Chinese love to gamble. That with all of the things that the Chinese government is doing, the one place where they could make a serious mistake is if they try to take that away from their people.
There'll be a rebellion there.
Yes, really, Chinese people love to gamble.
I know, no kidding. They love to gamble and smoke. And they're the first ones to wear masks. Yeah. 30 years ago, I was in China. They were wearing masks.
Yeah, that's true. Japan too. China.
Okay. In the meantime, 80 looks like some support potentially. but you know, it looks like it did fill a big gap from months ago. Okay, right here. So we'll see how it acts. Remember, we are, as I said, we are shorted. You know, I'd say probably 80. You know, which is the false market's right there right now. 80 to 88. Okay, XBI, X-ray Bravo India continues in consolidation, which is tormenting and torture. In the meantime, 125 to 135, and Zoom. Zulu Michael, and somebody commented today on how expensive the options were in there. Well, I said, well, it would be, well, the volatility is spiking. It's telling you Zoom, we're short Zoom. Okay. And it continues to go lower. And it looks like it looks to me that, you know, it's 270 to 290. Okay. If it takes out this 270, okay, which very realistically could, I mean, I don't know, you're going down to probably back to 200. Okay. This could get really ugly. I mean, remember the charge it made to get up there could create a lot of ugliness. Yes, win 80 to 88 there. Yes, sir. Okay. Hey, Bubba, thanks for the call. You bring much needed peace of mind to the game. Thank you. We try. Look, it's about, you know, we all go through losing streaks. And believe me, I hate to tell how much I've lost myself this year. But at the end of the day, you got to be calm. You got to understand it. In the meantime, would you recommend opening at the money put on SPY or QQQ at this time? If the portfolio is hedged, is it, I have to ask you this question. Okay. Is it hedged through synthetics or is it hedged through stock? Okay. Before I answer, see if you can answer that for me. Okay. And if you have any other stocks you want to look at Taiwan too. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, China wants to own the whole Pacific Rim there anyways. So, you know.
By the way, expect to hear a lot of stuff about the debt ceiling over the next couple.
Oh yeah, and we know what's going to happen with that, right? Now they're already sitting in there. The Republicans and the Democrats, they're sitting in a room, okay, and they're saying, "How are we going to screw the American bill now with what's going on?" And believe me, they'll come out wiping their brow at the last minute and saying, "Oh, we got the debt ceiling raised." This is as ridiculous as it is. You know, it'd be nice.
Why don't they stop screwing around and just to put no slim?
You know, because they got to make a melodramatic. I was so mad at President Trump, you know, when he let it go through, you know, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was so pissed off because I wanted him really to take a stand there, but I understood why he didn't, but I wanted him to take a stand there. But somebody's got to step up, but they won't. They're going to listen. It's the same thing without the term limits. It's the same screwing that we get on a regular basis. Okay. So that's unfortunately the way it is. Okay. So Francisco, if you want to ask me, if you want to tell me, there you go. Okay. All individual stocks. If you're hedged, I would not buy. Okay. I'm not interested in buying, certainly not off the initial spike in volatility, because you will be overpaying initially. Okay. You know, what for example, to my benefit today, you know, with the way that we do the synthetics part of the hedge and using synthetics, we were actually short for a big portion of the move down. Okay. Because that extra put kicks in. So I'm already got puts. Okay. In fact, in the Qs, I rolled my extra put. Hold on. I'll tell you exactly the price. Okay. From the synthetic, the extra put rolled at, let's see, it rolled down to 358, I think it was, but whatever. Okay. In the meantime, again, I'm not a big fan of buying puts, especially with your hedge. The reason you're hedged is so you're protected against the downside. Okay. Now, later, if you find a reason, you can certainly take a short position, but I'm not going to add, nor am I going to try to guess the market here. That's always one thing that I will tell you. And so the answer is no. Okay. What I was going to say is that if you were in, okay, the synthetic, which is what I asked it for, you would actually have that extra put that you were looking for anyways. In the meantime, FedEx is awful, which is to be expected. I mean, this whole transportation industry is in big trouble right now. Okay. The costs are going through the roof. Okay. It's hard to pass on all the extra costs they have between the shipping from overseas, fuel. I mean, it's hard for them to get excited, and they cannot, they're going to pass the cost on, but they can't pass it on all at once. Can they, Andy?
No, they got to ease into it, but it just looks lousy.
Right. So
Hey, take a look at FXI.
FXI, Foxtrot X-ray India.
Chinese Chinese large caps.
Yeah.
Yep, new low.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Heavy volume. Okay.
One more thing, DD. That's the one I'm keeping my eyes on because that's the one the Chinese.
What is it? Oh, DIDI.
Yeah,
Delta,
DD.
Delta India.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it
7.
hasn't made a new low, but it probably will. I mean, this thing was 1810 on the IPO day.
Yeah, and it's gone straight down since.
Oh, straight down, straight down.
No.
So
Again, you got to be careful in here. You're welcome, sir. All right, guys. Well, I guess if there's nobody who wants any stocks to look at, I will say this could be the week to start becoming a little bit more active. I'm not going to tell you yet to become active. Obviously, I will talk to you through. Go Packers. I think they win easy. Oh, I do have them tonight. Not that it makes you feel better. Okay. But I think Aaron Rodgers has a big night tonight. Lima Bravo Tango Yankee Alpha.
who's he playing?
The Packers are playing the Lions, the worst team, one of the worst teams in football.
I thought the Dolphins were the worst team.
No, the Dolphins are not bad. They got a great defense. I mean, this looks, I mean, I don't know if you own it. I don't know what they do. I don't know nothing about it, but it doesn't look bad. I mean, it's not horrible. Okay. If you did own it. Okay. I mean, certainly I would have no problem if I owned it with the way it looks right now. Okay.
Talk about uranium. They want to talk about uranium a little bit.
Yeah.
Put up CCJ.
Yeah.
Talk about them all. It had a great move. Listen, the price of yellow cake went up. The price of uranium went up. But it's kind of like, it kind of ran out of steam right now. I don't know if I would, I was recommending in my Technomental when it was between 16 and 17. And last week I was like, oh, it's gotten up here quick. Good time to take some off the table. Right now, it's going to go with the rest of the market. Commodity prices are falling. So I'd be cautious here. What do you think, Bubba?
Is URA one as well, if I remember?
Yeah. Yeah, they're all, they're all going to look the same. The NXE and Dennis.
We trashed what, big boy?
I'm sorry.
I'm talking to. Somebody made a comment that I want to know what I trashed. Okay. Oh, well, I just said I don't know anything about it. That's what I said. I mean, I say the same thing always. I don't ever trash anything. Okay.
No, uranium. Listen, it went with the rest of the commodities. It had a late move. I like the big liquid stocks like Bubba. That's why I liked CCJ for a while. But hey, that was a hell of a move from. Now
I'm gonna have to pull up the. Recording. Okay, now that you opened up, I'm gonna go back and.
Why?
I'm gonna go back and listen. Okay, because I don't believe that I would have ripped anything unmercifully.
I don't think you did. I think I actually, if you remember, you had a question. You sent me an email. Someone had reached out to you.
Mm-hmm.
When CCJ was down around 16, 17 bucks, and I actually had it in my my report.
Right.
I said the risk was low down there. I thought, but
no, but he's talking about
right now the risk is high. My answer to you on all of these stocks, the risk is high. It's a lot higher than it was.
I'm defending my personal honor right now.
Oh, I don't think you ripped any.
I don't think I could ever rip this chart. Okay. It might have been just because I was busting your balls, but I don't believe I would ever rip this chart.
By the way, what is that?
It's Elbit, whatever it is. I have no idea what they are, but it doesn't matter.
I never saw it.
Online sports and gambling in live last week. But yeah, Arizona. I mean, they're getting new states every day. Okay. You're welcome, kid. In the meantime, again, we're not ready yet for a huge action yet, but we're close. And if the trends change, okay, and if we start to head south, I do believe that we will become much more active. Okay, so you get yourself ready to be active. Okay, but don't start yet. Over and under, I like the over. Okay. URA, we talked about. These are uranium plays. NXE, November X-ray Echo.
Yeah, it's going to look a lot.
Like they're all going to look the same. Yeah.
It all look the same. Yeah, and DNN, it's going to look the same.
That's not bad. $5. Hey, what the hell?
I look at it differently.
I know.
From 350 to
I know what you look at. I'm just laughing. Delta
Same thing.
$1.50.
It's all the same. Like I said, I love these things back in August. I mean, in July and August. Now, the move is there. From my perspective, I took the money off the table. These are not candidates and liquid enough for hedging or trend following. These are
$1.50. You're talking about you're taking a gamble, and that's a shot.
Exactly, it's a shot. And you
$5
know what?
stock,
If
you're
you rode
taking a
this
shot.
thing from $1 to $1.80, God bless. That's 80%. It's a nice move.
So, all right, sports fans, enjoy the game if you're a fan. And I understand, which I'll be watching tonight, that the Eli and Peyton broadcast is much better than the Rats on ESPN. On ESPN 2, I think it is. That's what I heard. I don't know, but I'm going to check it out tonight.
What are they on?
They're on ESPN 2, I think. They're on one of the ESPN family, but Peyton and Eli do their own broadcasts, through ESPN.
Oh, I got to watch that.
Yeah, and I heard it was much better than the I don't like the guys that are Greasy and the other schmuck are no good.
Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like them at all. They're boring.
Yeah, exactly.
They're boring.
All right, guys, have a great.
Nice to be bored. Hey, have a great one, Bubba. Thank you.
Andy, thank you as always.